Suit up, strap in, warm the tires, and leave on yellow. Time for the MitsuTimes podcast, presented by MitsuTimes.org, the home of the fastest Mitsubishi cars. With your host, Josh.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the MitsuTimes podcast. Very special guest today, Mr. Linur. He has a 9-second Evo that you've probably seen at the shootout. How are you today, sir?
Good evening. How are you doing?
I am doing well. Glad to have you on.
Glad to be on.
It's one of those things where I just think that clean white Evos just, sometimes they blend in the crowd, but yours just looks so good and it runs nines.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's definitely a test to, have it looking and running at the same time. That just definitely took a toll on me.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like you're on to, kind of other platforms too. So
Yes.
to be able to manage an Evo and keep it going, that's a testament to your willpower, I think.
I'm almost reaching my limits. We're really close, and I don't know who's going to win. I feel like I might just, throw the towel under, but we'll see.
I know that feeling for sure.
I'm sure we all been there owning Mitsubishi.
So, Lenore, why don't you tell us a little bit about your Evo?
Well, I guess to start off, I bought the car in 2016 in January, so I'm going to have a 10-year anniversary with it pretty soon. I bought it as a rolling shell. And since then, I had the car for some time period. It was an FP Black, like a built motor, mildly built motor, and, it was a very fun car. As usual, I ended up selling the car, and years later, I ended up buying the car back, so I guess that's, like, something special about it.
Sure. Did you know the person that you sold it to?
Yes, I did, but he sold to somebody else, and then that person sold to someone else that was out of state at that point. So the person that I sold it to originally kind of got me in connect with the current owner, and I ended up buying off him 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so that'd be something about that car. And in between that, I think I had another 30 Evos in between that time frame.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
So from the time you sold it to the time you got it back, how much it changed?
Oh, I guess it changed, but I changed it again after I got it. But they did have an SDM forward-facing kit. When I sold it was an FP Black, like the standard placement kit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was about it. Yeah, that's the only change, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing body-wise, because everything's still the same. It was still a factory panel, still full interior. But like the turbo kit went from standard placement to the forward-facing kit. And they had a different intake manifold and intercooler piping, but I switched all that out as well.
So as you're looking at this shell back in the day, did you have any plans for it?
Oh, the plan was to, because I part out cars, I'm not sure if you're aware of, but I part out cars in general, but then that was like when I was making that switch to Evos, and then they had a crashed Evo, so I had the full complete drivetrain ready in there. The game plan was to just swap that over and, have some fun with it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's what we did.
Was it something that drew you to Evos in the first place, or was it just kind of, part of, it was all business?
No, actually what drew me to Evos first, I had Evos prior to that as well, like my personal Evos, but what drew me originally, I was a big Honda guy, but I'm not sure if you know Anthony Fernandez. He was an Evo guy at one point, but he's a Honda guy now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, originally he was an Evo guy and I was a Honda guy, and we were friends, and him having an Evo and just, clean the streets up like just so effortlessly in a stock turbo car, and I'm like, no way that's possible, and that kind of like, motivated me to get an Evo, because I had a Honda S1000 back then. He would just smoke me just effortlessly,
So it really started on the street.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure we all started at the street,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Sort of being young and dumb.
Right. Was it something about this car that you like? Do you like the 8s more than the 9s and more than the 10s?
Honestly, the 8s and 9s are really like, I like the body, the CT9 chassis style, but like I prefer 8, like the engine having non-Mavic is it's just more simpler,
Oh yeah.
But I like the aesthetics of 9, like the headlights, the black suede interior, black steering wheel, like the tail light, just the little stuff. The front bumper, obviously. But other than that, I really don't discriminate between them two. And the 10 is a really good car to drive overall. My actually winter car right now is the Evo 10. They are a lot more comfortable for daily purposes.
Mm-hmm.
But like when it comes to like the raw feeling, it's not as 8 and 9. You don't have that, and it's just too bulky. Doesn't have those angles like the 8 and 9 have.
Right. It doesn't look as aggressive from the outside.
That's correct. It's not as aggressive. It looks a lot more friendly.
That's true. Yep. So I want to talk about the 6466 setup that you have on it now, or at least you had on it when you got your PB.
That was actually the PB was in my Evo 8 that I had. That was a 6466.
Okay.
I did run a 9.7 in those cars as well, but it was like 9.73 or something. It was slightly off, so I never resubmit the slip.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they had a higher mile per hour in those cars, but it never went faster ET.
So what's going on under the hood of this one?
Currently, it is a RRT build 2.0 aluminum long aluminum rod block, half filled. It's on a Morrison Fab forward-facing kit on an Exona 105 turbo and FIC 2100. Just the regular rest of the stuff. But like the main thing is the RRT built engine.
That's quite the setup there. The Zona Morrison Fab RRT.
Yes. I got the PPG also built by Wraith.
So you got all the right parts.
I believe so, but the combination and just lack of being on the track, I guess, the lack of testing kind of sets me back a little. Because every time I go to track, there's something, and I only go once a year with family and kids. You know how that goes.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I definitely understand that. What about the rest of the driveline? What are you doing for clutch and axles, all that good stuff?
Well, I am running stock axles. I never had a problem. They've been there forever, Hundreds of launches. Stock axles. I do have an aluminum drive shaft shop, 2-piece drive shaft. Stock rear diff. Still hanging on there. No problem with that either. Do have a T-case. Mildly built, nothing crazy with the RS LSD in it. Quartermaster twin, Hue Train money shifter. Definitely recommend that. That was like one of the greatest thing in there to invest, and that's it for the drivetrains.
Okay. What are we doing for suspension, tires, weight savings, all that stuff that equals up to those 9s?
For suspension, I am running D2 STM spec coilovers. The wheels and tires. The wheels are Billac 15-inch, 15x8, and the tire setup. I usually run Hoosiers, but like currently there are on street Mickey Thompson Street ETs. I haven't launched it on those, but I do instead have a Hoosiers, for the track purposes.
Right.
And for the weight savings, I do have tubular subframes front and back, power steering, AC, all that's deleted. The heater cords, all that gone. That'd be it. But rest of the stuff is still intact with a car.
So it's kind of a race car, kind of a street car.
Yeah, it's 50-50.
Sometimes that's where Evos like to be, though.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree on that.
So what are we doing for ECU and who tunes it?
Well, for the ECU, I got the AEM-V2. I know it's Asian and everybody makes fun of it, but I had a V1 for the longest, and I finally made the switch about 5 years ago to a V2, and then everybody ended up going Motec, Heltec, and everything else. And the tuner is Rafe Fadjo at RRT Motorsport. He's been tuning my cars since I had an Evo, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, he tuned plenty of cars for me.
Get it up there on the RRT dyno?
Yeah, yes, sir.
I know you said that you've had a couple of Evos into the 9s. I feel like there's a good couple dozen people out there that are really struggling to get past that 10-second mark. What do you think are some of the biggest hurdles from getting from the 11s to the 10s and then finally down into the single digits?
Well, I feel like to get an Evo going in 10 seconds is pretty simple. You could literally do an FB red setup, just a built motor. Or like I was on FB black and on a 93 pump gas, car running 10.9. You know, I was running constant 11 with the shootout, and then full interior, still had power steering, AC, car running 10.9. And I was happy, even though I disqualified myself because it was an 11.5 bracket. But I was happy, you know, that was a good weekend. And then from 10.9, I ended up switching to the forward facing kit, and the car just goes 10.0. Like,
Oh,
just
wow.
instantly, yeah, like, you know, 10.0, and we had no problems. But like what happened was it was kind of end of the season. I ran a 10.0, and then the second pass, car drops a valve, keeper, and ends the season slightly short, so I couldn't get into that 9 second. And then once we situated for next year, our first pass, car runs a 9.7 right off the trailer, you know?
Wow.
So we come back, op the booze, go for another pass, have a good 60 foot, like best 60 foot I ever had. Second gear, the synchro trans just did not want to cooperate at that moment, and we lost the trans. But I feel like to go nines, you don't really need much. That's what happens is like trying to go faster. Like, you know, how we all chase that high, that's what the problems begin. Because I feel like you could keep the stock subframes and just a built motor, and synchro trans will get you a 9 on a 64, 66, you know?
For sure. So whenever you were talking about that, getting that 9.7 slip, how did that feel getting that first, finally breaking into that 9?
Oh, it felt awesome. It felt like, dude, we finally accomplished. Because all of my friends, like I told you, Anthony, they all had Evo, so they all ran a 9 year before that, the shootout, and I couldn't attend because I had things going on with work and stuff, and I couldn't go that year, and they all had their 9 seconds, and all winter, I was like kind of behind these guys and kind of want to chase the same 9, and then when it finally happened, I'm like, all right, now I feel like I'm still with the group, with the crew, you know, but we're all running 9s now.
Pop back up.
Yes, sir.
Well, Lenore, I think one thing that is interesting, because it obviously varies driver to driver. What's your kind of pre-race ritual to get you in the zone, to get you in the right head frame before you get up to the lights?
I mean, before it was different, but now since I have kids, the main thing is find some babysitter or somebody, you know, find some free time to go to the track. And the second thing would be make sure I got a half a tank gas, because I had an issue with that. Then now on, like every time I make it past, I make sure we got a half a tank gas in there, like so we don't run out of fuel and we don't have that problem. Always have a set of spark plugs with me, because you know that's another thing. You know, spark plugs are pretty common to set me back.
Right.
Other than that, just you know, little prayer and we just send it.
I love it.
This episode of the MitsuTimes podcast is brought to you by BeanFab. Keith at BeanFab does everything from custom fabrication, turbo setups, exhaust, intercooler pipes, transmission builds, porting, engine builds, and even wiring. He's one of the best in the business. You can find BeanFab products installed on many of the top cars on our MitsuTimes list. Contact them at beanfab.com.
So out of all the passes that you've made with this car in particular, what do you think has been the most memorable one?
Well, probably the one that went out on our fuel, because I literally had one of the greatest 60 foot I ever did. You know, launched the car, everything's going good. 1, 2, everything's on money. Go to third gear, car started breaking up. And I'm like, what the hell? So I end up, you know, just lifting from full throttle and just kind of coast through the finish line. Found out I was short on gas. Car was just leaning out because there was no gas in the gas tank. Me trying to save some weight, you know, ended up causing me probably a good pass right there. Probably a PB. So from that moment on, I kind of like, now I remember to put gas.
That's a good thing it didn't cost you an engine.
Yeah.
That'd have been real bad. So a lot of times, you know, you're at the track, you see, you know, Rafe and the guys, they're launching it, and it makes a hard turn towards the wall. Have you ever had like a sketchy moment on the track with this car that, you know, kind of made your heart skip a beat?
Yeah, I had plenty, but one that really stuck out was just here at the local track. It was like a no prep, like a cruise night, and some local kid had a nitrous Fox body, you know, the V8 guys and whatever. So I'm like, sure, we could run it, and then here we are, we line up. I launch the car. The first 60-foot car goes hard to the right, like really close to the wall, kind of trying to wave it to the left, and then, you know how car shifts all the way to the left, so I'm like in the middle of the lane now, you know, but I'm still holding on because I can't let him pass, let my ego get best of me, but I stayed on it, and I came up top, but that was pretty sketchy, you know. I probably wouldn't do it now, but back then, I was a little more reckless.
willing to take those risks.
Yeah, definitely. Just young and dumb, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, like you said in the beginning, there's a lot of different combos that people run to run certain times. Tens, nines, whatever. Of all those, people swear by certain parts or certain mods. Over your all these years that you've been running this car, what's one mod or part or whatever that you would never touch, even though a lot of Evo guys really swear by it?
I mean, I really like the factory body panels. Like, people throw the carbon fenders, hood, and like the front end. I really like the original aesthetics, the looks, how slick it looks. And then the second thing, probably the seats. I love the recovery seat. They're just so comfy. I just can't put anything else in there. Like, I had a Kirky, and it just, like, I feel like that weight saving is not really worth replacing that seat. And then the third thing probably be the axles. I never had an issue with axles. Like, literally, I launched so many times and never had a problem with the stock axles. So those are just the things for me.
I think you might need to knock on some wood there just so you don't jinx it.
Yeah. Well, good thing I had a set of axles sitting here as a spare for like the longest, but I never had to use them. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, the Evos, they definitely seem to have a kind of a culture of their own. How would you say that like other Evo owners and the Evo community has kind of shaped your journey with these cars?
Oof, the community came a long way to just pretty much made me who I am today, I would say. Even my wife, I met her through the Evos because she had an Evo, and here we are, 2 kids later, 10 years down. But the community is completely different than any other community. Like I said, I've been a Honda guy. There was a Honda community that wasn't it like the Mitsubishis are. And
seems to be very little, fighting and drama between the.
Yeah, they understand each other. I feel like we all go through the Mitsubishi life and how car treats us, so we all could relate to each other. Like if your car is running, you're probably a really stubborn person that want to get that car going. We all have that same mentality because it's really hard to keep these cars on all fours instead of jack stands.
Oh, for sure. All right. So, in your opinion, what do you think it is about the Evo that makes it such a good platform for drag racing? I mean, it seems like every, at the shootout, it seems like Evos outnumber the DSMs these days.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly don't think they're the good cars for drag racing, but like I don't think they're great, but I feel like they're good, because they're good for overall for a lot of things, Like the prep tracks might be a little not the best for the Evos, but no preps they seems to be doing real good, and like they do okay on the prep track, if that makes sense. And I feel like the majority of people want to do Evos because the way they look, just the slick look, and just having 4 doors all-wheel drive instead of the DSM,
Oh yeah, for
the
sure.
aesthetics of it.
Especially, I mean, even as a DSM guy myself, I think there's nothing like an Evo on some slicks at the track.
Right. And then you also have, don't forget, you have that Momo steering wheel, Brembo brakes, just like all the cool features that came from early 2000s that just wasn't, you don't see any other car that had those features.
For sure. Well, you talked about, racing this one and getting down to the 9.3, pretty similar to the PB and the 6466 Evo. Back then, it's been since 2020 since you ran that PB. So what do you think your future with this Evo looks like? I know you said it's definitely, on the rocks.
I honestly don't know, but like the main goal is to beat the PB, obviously, get over that little hurdle that I had that I'm stuck at 9.7. I had like 4 different 9.7s, and I feel like it's just something got to give, something got to happen. But the initial intent to get an 8-second pass with it, because I feel like everything is there. Only thing that's missing probably a track and just being at the track, the getting those passes in.
Just getting some seat
time, absolutely. Because like I said, having kids and work and everything else, just I can't get to the track as much as I used to. And every time I go to a track, there's something small happens that throws off, and we can't get a pass, and it's just a bunch of things. And then I bring the car back, and a year later again we go to the track once a year, and without actually having any passes, and just something different completely happens, and things just don't work.
I got you. So you've been racing these cars for a long time. What common mistakes do you see either new Evo owners make, or even people who are just starting to drag race their Evo, so that maybe people listening can avoid those mistakes?
I feel like the new generation, a lot of guys are in it for wrong reasons. Everybody's just more so like trying to be an influencer instead of having a passion for racing. And then the second thing, everybody wants a 1,000 horsepower car without like being ready for the 1,000 horsepower problems. I feel like I had a lot more fun at 400 horsepower range than where I'm at now.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody skips that part, and then probably the safety. Everybody oversees the safety features and just kind of dump the money in the power version and just skips the safety part. And I feel like that's really important to have the safety features in a car.
Don't you think that leads to so many people parting their car out because they want to shoot for that, like you said, that 1,000 horsepower, but then they're not prepared to do a rebuild every
Oh
couple
yeah,
of years?
absolutely. That might be the reason, But you can see as now like the wave is shifting down to like a full bolt-on cars, just the FP Red stuff and just more daily driven car Evos instead of the 1,000 horsepower, because that kind of going down is more because all the parts are being discontinued and just very expensive to upkeep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, are there any events that you plan to attend with this car next year?
The one and only event that really matters, the shootout. I can't really skip that because I skipped it this year. I had a baby, we couldn't go, but like next year we definitely at the shootout, and that's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Get some.
It sounds like Rafe and Nick are going to host another rental as well.
Yeah,
That might be
but it
up
just
in your area.
it's so close to the shootout, and just like I can't really go to a rental, and then if something breaks and just turnaround time for the shootout just too close. That makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If there were like a few months before the shootout, that'd be a cool thing to do. But like being so close, I'm like, cool, I could go out there and have some fun. But like, what if something goes left and then I have to get to skip on the shootout, like not take the car with me? And it just, I've been at the shootout without a car and it just feels so wrong. Just want to have a car there,
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's not the same
Yes.
for sure.
I'm sure it's nice to see everybody, participate with it, or like, race, but like you just want to participate because I feel like the shootout is just more so where a racer get to be a racer. And it's not a spectator's event. It's more so a racer's event,
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, Lenore, something that we've been kind of doing for fun, recently on this podcast is allowing people to call out somebody for next season. Is there anybody that you want to call out? Maybe.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of people that would like to call out, but the two main ones would be probably Anthony Fernandez and Kidani Reyes. They're local to me. We've been racing since forever, but they did had a slight advantage, while me having family, kids. They still don't have their kids, so they were focused on their cars while I was focused on the family. They this sort of got ahead, on their builds and going fast, but they're definitely on a hit list,
You gotta check them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had my fair share, winning their races, and the past few years they gave me some whooping, but now I got to come back and show them what it's about.
Hell yeah, I love that. Well, where can people find and follow you on social media so they can see some more of this beautiful Evo?
Absolutely. Lately, I've been active on Instagram past year. So my Instagram is at Instigator instead of I use one. But yeah, I post a lot on Facebook, but it's not always correlated. But Instagram is pretty much strictly correlated stuff. So,
all right, and then at the end I always give people a chance to give a thanks or a shout out to anybody who's helped get their car where it is or get them where they are personally. Is there anybody that you would like to give a thanks or a shout out to?
Oh yeah, absolutely. My wife. I mean, she was there from the beginning and she supports me, and she's sort of in it with me, like all the spendings and the time, away from home, being at the shop. She's okay with that, so I got to be appreciative, for her. And then Anthony Fernandez, like I said, we've been doing this since we were kids together, and we kind of help each other elevate and get to the point where we at. Kidani, he definitely helps me when he can. He did actually some bearings on my motor a few years ago, still holding on pretty good, so I'm definitely grateful for that. Rafe, always coming in clutch. Every time I have a question, any issues with the car, last minute, repairs, he's always there, And then Ozan, one of my buddy's local friends, he's a huge hype man, so huge shout out to him. He always positive energy and always hypes it up every time, I'm at the track. Every time I get a PB, he's there, like the cash days we go to, and he's always as a hype man.
That's great. Everybody needs a hype man.
Absolutely, and I feel like I'm lucky to have a hype man like him.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come on here. I definitely can't wait to see the PB in this Evo and, see what the future holds for you with all these, like we said in the beginning, you got all these amazing parts. I definitely think an 8 is in it.
Well, thank you for having me. It was definitely an honor. And yeah, hopefully we'll get this, get over this 97 hurdle, and hopefully, even if you don't get to the 8th, I'll be happy with a 160-mile-an-hour trap. So one or the other got to happen next year. I feel like I'm not going to give up until one of them happens. So
there you go. I like that attitude.
And, just being winter, kind of depressed, but now talking to you, like having this podcast definitely might motivate me a little more,
There you go. That's what it's for.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll talk to you soon. We'll see you at the track.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the MitsuTimes podcast. Check out our Instagram and Facebook for daily updates. Get added to our list by going to MitsuTimes.org and clicking Submit a Slip. Thank you to all of our sponsors.